Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Wealth and Work Online Make Money Online 2021 Daily Live Workshops starting at 12 p.m. today. Um, and it's the Success Mindset Day. I had to move it to 12 o'clock because it's better for you guys. You know, I usually have it at 9 a.m. and it just really didn't work. So we moving it. We're in transition to move it to 12 o'clock. Okay, so let's get started right away. Okay. This is the Green Books Publishing website where I house all of the ebooks that we promote online for you. Okay. Today we are promoting my ebook, Success Mindset, for $15. Now, as you know, I always give away a 50% coupon for live viewers. So you can get it, you can save $7.50 and pick it up for $7 today. Okay. $7.50 today. So let's get into what this is all about, all right? Because we want to have a successful mindset. Change your mindset in just 7 days. I wrote my notes down just to make sure that I told you correctly. Change your mindset in just 7 days. You want to be successful, but you're not there yet. And if you're like a lot of people, you're wondering why your efforts haven't paid off. It's frustrating, especially if you've been reading books and trying recommendations. But the good news is your mindset is the key to success, and you can change your mindset. What do I mean by that? Well, mindset is the way you think about things. It's how you think about yourself, your efforts and abilities, and your place in the world. You know you've had some times and you hear a voice in the back of your head telling you about things about yourself. We all hear it. And the problem is that it's rarely a positive voice. In fact, it could be a real jerk. But it doesn't need to stay that way. There are things that you can do to change it, rewire it, and give it a positive spin. And guess what? When you do that, you can do anything, inshallah. That means God willing. I want you to think about that little voice when it says, you're not, dot, 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 whatever that extra is. So next, I'll tell you about how you can change that little voice into something positive. Ready? Let's go. What's your inner critic saying about you? Previously, I told you that the key to success is taking that annoying, critical voice in your head and turning it into something positive. That might seem impossible, but I promise you that you can do it. It all starts with listening to that little voice. You see, a lot of times you might simply dismiss it or let it stop you without really listening to it. Today, I want you to listen, really listen, and then write down what that little voice says to you. It might be awful, but it might tell you that you're a failure or that your goals are out of reach. It might even tell you that you're stupid. Write it down. Don't read it over again. Just record it and put it away. You'll probably think about it during the day, but try not to dwell on it. We'll come back to it later. And I'll tell you how to understand what it's really trying to tell you and how it can motivate you towards success. I wrote these in little parts so that I can break down little sections for you. Understanding your inner critic. Are you ready to get to the heart of what your inner critic is trying to tell you? Pull out that notebook from before, okay? And read it over what you wrote. Think about how you felt and what immediately came to mind. I'm willing to bet it's negative, maybe even hurtful. The important thing to remember is that this voice is part of you. You can't escape it, but you can certainly control how you respond to it and how it affects your ability to be successful at anything. Ultimately, it's trying to protect you. See, your brain tries to build up things to protect you and keep you safe, even though it might not seem like it a lot of the times. Your job today is your homework for today. Look at what that voice says and figure out what it really means for example, if your inner critic tells you that you shouldn't try to start a business because you'll fail, there are two ways to look at it. Your inner critic has no faith in your ability or skills and wants you to give up, or your inner critic is really consumed with the fear of failure and wants to protect you. Which of those two do you think is the most likely? I'll save you the suspense. It's the second one. Take a minute and figure out the subtext of what your inner critic is saying. Why do you really feel this way? How are these thoughts and feelings impacting your business or your life? And more importantly, how can you mute that critic so you can focus on your strengths and what you bring to the table? Next, I'll talk to you about how to switch it up and turn it into positivity. One moment. Acknowledging your inner critic. If you've been following along, then you've written down what your inner critic says about you. And if you figured out what it means, maybe you got an ingrained fear of failure, or perhaps you doubt yourself because others have doubted you. Now, whatever's driving that inner critic, you've identified, and that makes you dwell on the way you're creating a success mindset. It's time to acknowledge what the inner critic is telling you. Instead of letting it get you down or brushing it aside, talk to it. Silly, right? But I want you to say it out loud like this. I hear what you're telling me. I know there's a chance I could fail, but that's a risk I'm willing to take to succeed. I will buckle down and do the hard work. Basically, what you're doing is thanking your inner critic for looking out for you. And at the same time, you're acknowledging that you can't let it stop you. You can't let the fear stop you. You have to learn how to do what it is that you fear correctly. Or you might as well not do it at all. You can write down as many responses as you need to. The idea is to hear what the voice is really trying to tell you and respond to it accordingly. Next, we'll talk about how to create a new script for that inner voice to use. You've listened to, understood, and acknowledged your inner critic. Now it's time to give that doubting voice a new script to follow. Read over what you first wrote down when you listened to your inner critic. Remember when I told you? I'm willing to bet the words were harsh ones, right? We're almost always harder on ourselves than we are on other people, right? Now rewrite that inner critic. Rewrite what the inner critic said to you. Imagine that you're giving advice to a dear friend, because 9 times out of 10, we always help others more than we help ourselves. Someone you love and want to encourage and support. Instead of saying, you shouldn't try because you'll fail, you'll probably find yourself saying, you can do anything you set your mind to. Instead of saying, you're stupid and incompetent, you'll say, you're smart and capable, and I believe in you. The takeaway here is that you should never talk to someone you cared about in the way you talk to yourself. Don't you deserve to be spoken to with kindness and understanding? I think you do. Anytime you hear that inner critic saying terrible, discouraging, unkind things to you, rewrite that script. You are your worst critic. Remember that you're a friend, and speak to yourself accordingly. Okay, 2 more. Remember the nasty things your inner critic said to you? If you're like most people, a lot of them felt like roadblocks. They start with phrases like, you can't, you shouldn't, you won't, don't, stop. What all these words and phrases have in common is that they're very limiting. Your inner critic might be trying to protect you, but it's also trying to limit you. And you know what? limiting beliefs can prevent success if you let them. The next way to get rid of limiting beliefs is to identify them and understand that they are only beliefs, not facts. Today, I want you to know any limiting beliefs that you have about yourself. They may come from your inner critic, or they might be things that you know are holding you back. Here are a few of the most common limiting beliefs. I don't have time. I don't have the resources I need or the money. It's too late for me to do what I want to do or to do what I need to do. I procrastinate too much. You get the idea. Whatever you tell yourself that can hold you back from success is a limiting belief. Oh, another one I forgot to say. It's too hard. How is it too hard? You haven't even tried. It's too hard. Or maybe you've tried one time. It's too hard. Okay, it's too hard. Algebra is too hard for a person who's never studied. Physics is too hard for someone who never studied physics. But there are people who now know calculus who before didn't know algebra. It's a succession of learning. Oh, we're coming up on a 30-minute break, guys. So we're going to play. Oh, let's finish this up real quick. Let's finish this up, and then we'll go into our break, and we have a little video we're gonna play on our break. Okay, about planting trees and how that actually helps the world. Because we planted a tree in Australia the other day. Only cost us $1, right? On January 31st, we planted a tree in Australia from the Make Money Online 2021 daily live workshops with Weldon Work on YouTube and Weldon Work Online on Facebook and Twitch. We did that. All right. Now, let's get back to this really quick so we go on our break. You get the idea of common limiting beliefs. Whatever you tell yourself can hold you back from success, that's a limiting belief. Rewrite them so that each one starts with I believe. Next, I'll teach you how to banish those limiting beliefs. I'll tell you how to banish those limiting beliefs for good. The good thing about identifying your limiting beliefs is that now you can use 2 simple steps to change them. Ready? I want you to start taking each limiting belief and writing it and rewriting it to put a positive spin on it. For example, say that you wrote, I believe that it's too late for me to be successful at whatever your goal is, whatever you're trying to create, whatever you're trying to learn, right? Or whatever you're trying to do in that moment. That's going to make you a better person or a better student or a better teacher or whatever you're trying to do. Now, your rewritten version might look like this. I have a lot of life experience that will help me along the road to success. You see how that statement took a potentially negative thing and turned it into a positive one? Think of it as finding a silver lining in your limiting belief. You may write a few versions of each belief until you find the right one. Understand one thing. Our brain computes 50,000 thoughts a day. I believe it's like 50,000. Let's check Google. I want to be accurate. How many thoughts does the human brain compute daily? Let's ask Google. That's too many words. Hold on. Thoughts per day in the brain. There we go. A study has suggested that an average person has 6,200 thoughts per day. thousands of thoughts cross our mind through the day. Many people even complain that they sleep immediately after going to bed, as their brain does not stop thinking, or that they can't sleep immediately after going to bed as their brain does not stop thinking. I used to say that my thoughts think thoughts. But check this out. 90% of what we think is negative. It's in order to keep us alive, okay? Basically, it's in order to keep us alive, to protect us. Now, you need to rewrite some of those thoughts. They're negative, but do they move you forward, or do they keep you safe where you're at? So if you want to move forward, use those negative beliefs. Use those negative limiting beliefs, okay? Those thoughts. Use them to your advantage. They're telling you something that you are lacking in. They're signifying what you lack, okay? Or that you think you lack. All right. Now, where were we? We rewrote them. Now, take your time and choose the one that's most inspiring to you. Now, and this is the tricky part. You've got to commit yourself to acting as if your new statements are what you truly believe about yourself. Now, I know this is not easy, and it may boil down to a version of fake it till you make it. You know, we all learned that. But guess what? There's nothing wrong with that. You might want to put your new beliefs on Post-it notes and stick them to your computer, monitor, or desk. I personally wrote it on my my bathroom mirror in a dry erase marker. Okay, so every day I wake up, I look, and it actually says that it is possible. It doesn't say what it is. It just says it is possible. So that fuels my drive to never fail, or to never think that I will fail. Okay? That's just Welbin, you know. This is just that's how I do things. But you can put whatever you want on there, okay? Or whatever makes sense to you and works for you. Now, you might want to turn them into mantras or affirmations, okay? I choose to say affirmations because you are affirming something to yourself. You're not just saying it over and over and over and over like a mantra, but you are affirming something to yourself, that this is true, that these good things about you are true, and you will start to live in that. The key is to be persistent with them. Remind yourself daily, and before long, your new positive, limitless beliefs will be the things that drive you toward the success you deserve. All right? Now, enough with my talking. You can pick up the book at greenbookspublishing.com. That's greenbookspublishing.com. And type in Success Mindset. It should be at the top. That's our blog. And this is how we make money and feed our family every day. Okay? Everybody has something. This is what we have. This is what I have. And I'm extending it to you in order for you to create a success mindset. I have turned my life around because of my mindset, significantly because of my mindset. All right. If you have the wrong mindset, you're going after the wrong goals, you will achieve them. You will achieve them. If you have a success mindset and you have a positive outlook and you have positive goals, you will achieve them. You will achieve anything you set your mind to. Understand that. All right? But make sure that your goals are correct. If your goals are not correct, what are you aiming for? You will hit. Les Brown once said that it's not that we aim too high and miss. It's that we aim too low and hit. Every time. Okay? So shoot above what you think that you should be at, and you'll more than likely hit your target or exceed it. All right, so let's jump into our break. So let me put this on No, we'll keep it here. Let me put this on. Right click, notepad, open. And we had a broadcast here. Right, no, not that one. Excuse me. This we're gonna watch right here, and this is gonna be the reforestation update number 2 from One Tree Planted. This is one of the companies that foundations that we invest into. We give them $1 every time we broadcast, and plus any of the dollars that are donated from each one of your proceeds from our books. See, every time you purchase a book on Green Books Publishing, we take $1 out of that and we hand it over to One Tree Planted and plant you a tree. And you can get a tree planted in many different locations. Let me tell you real quick. All right, so we plant in North America, and in North America we plant trees in Canada, and in Canada we plant trees in British Columbia, Ontario, Quebec, and New Brunswick. All right, in the United States we plant trees in California, Colorado, in all of the national forests, in Appalachia, which is the Appalachian Mountains that extend from, I think it's up north, from the state of New York all the way down to Alabama. We plant trees in Florida as well. Now we have 3 different programs that aren't planting trees. Well, we're planting trees, but it's basically to protect the life around it, such as the Orca project that we plant trees in. I think it's off the coast of California, in Northern California, British Columbia, and around there in the Pacific Ocean, we plant trees for the endangered southern resident orca, and those are whales. Those are killer whales, and the orca that needs salmon. Because the trees affect the salmon growth, the orca growth is affected as well. So it's all connected. Our lives are all connected. Trees are connected to our lives. They breathe out what we breathe in, and we breathe out what they breathe in. So it's a cycle. It's a life cycle. All right. And we also plant trees in order to offset our carbon footprint. Now, our carbon footprint is really something like the emission that your body gives. You're like, let's just say you're an automobile, a funky automobile that shoots out black smoke. All right, we don't shoot out black smoke out our mouths, but we do emit a certain amount of carbon, such as carbon dioxide. That's 1 carbon molecule and 2 oxygen molecules. Okay, we breathe in O2. That is 2 oxygen molecules without the carbon, but we fuse a carbon molecule to the oxygen when we breathe it out. So it's in essence, we're breathing out a part of us, and we're breathing in new oxygen. But now we can't breathe in that carbon dioxide. That's why they say carbon dioxide poisoning, because you can suffocate breathing what you broth out. Is broth a word? I don't think broth is a word. You can suffocate breathing in what you've breathed out. So in order to clear up that carbon out of those 2 oxygen molecules that we breathed out, trees inhale that CO2 and they exhale it purely without the carbon. It's like they're eating the carbon that we're giving. So in essence, we are contributing to the earth from our lungs to the earth. We're slowly going in the ground, people. All right. But in a positive way, in a positive way. So look, that's our carbon offset. And how we do that is we plant trees to reduce our carbon offset. Okay. Most simply, a carbon offset is a reduction of carbon emissions to compensate for emissions made elsewhere. Carbon offsets help lower your carbon impact in a way that is quantified and verified, by the way. And you get a certificate and we talk about the impact that it creates. This carbon offset project works with Nature Conservancy in Vermont with their recently conserved Burnt Mountain Natural Area. This 5,408 acre forest parcel that will remain forever wild for the benefit of nature and people. Located near state parks, privately owned and conserved lands, and the Long Trail State Forest. This project helps create an 11,000 acre block of continuous forest that will be protected and in perpetuity. In perpetuity. That's continuing on and on. Guys, I know I'm like a tree hugger now. So what? If that's I think that's a slight actually, because we should all love the earth. We should all love trees. But you know, I think it's based on our ignorance of the fact that we need trees. Okay. So look, the Burnt Mountain will be maintained and managed as a part of the Nature Conservancy in Vermont's 58 Natural Area Network, which is open to the public for hiking, fishing, and hunting, while retaining and improving ecological integrity. All right, we can make one-time donations per day. We can make recurring donations per month. It depends on what we want to do. All right. Moving on, the third thing we do is, wait, what happened? Oh, we plant trees in national forests. So the United States National Forest, the USFS, an agency of the United States Department of Agriculture, manages more than 150 national forests across 43 states. Now, One Tree Planted, which is the company that we partnered with like 3 or 4 years ago, is one of their official reforestation partners, giving us the opportunity to plant more trees on more public land from coast to coast. Since we have so many projects planned for national forests, your tree will be planted in an area which the USFS needs it most. Okay, so they'll figure out where they want to plant it. But you can tell me where you want your tree to be planted, and I'll have it planted there. Okay, that's in the United States. Now, if you want to go international, we can go to Mexico. This is still in the North American soil. But in Mexico, the 30,000 trees for the Canopy Project include reforestation to take place in 45 communities in 2 municipalities within the Sierra Gorda Biosphere Reserve in the state of Querétaro. They will take place on public lands, schools, and private lands in temperate zones. The Sierra Gorda Biosphere Reserve's strategic biographical position between the Arctic Neotropical and the Mesoamerican mountain regions makes Sierra Gorda one of the most ecologically rich and diverse places in Mexico. It comprises of 14 vegetation types, dominated by the tropical sclerophyllus. I like saying things correctly. Sclerophyllus forest. The conservation of the ecosystems in the Sierra Gorda is essential as they host a number of threatened species and serve as a refuge for migratory species. So your impact is like crazy there, because the Sierra Gorda is one of the most diverse and rich ecosystems in Mexico. And Sierra Gorda Biosphere Reserve is a natural protected area of almost 1 million acres. 1 million acres. And it covers a third of Querétaro State. By planting trees, the project restores soils, thus maintaining soil erosion and enabling groundwater recharge. By encouraging and educating communities to care for and conserve their forests, this project promotes healthy ecosystems and well-functioning natural water resources. Now I'm just letting you know that this is the reason why we take money from the sales from Green Books Publishing and we donate to these initiatives. That's why we are Green Books Publishing. It's not just to sell books. I'm trying to gather money for these projects. I'm just doing it through sales. So now I'm feeding my family, but I'm also helping the earth and these initiatives that help the earth and the people on the earth. It's not just the earth, it's the people on the earth, because we are one. And anybody who doesn't think that is ignorant to the fact, and they just have to learn. But we, the people of the earth, are one. And we need the earth. So anytime I get the chance to help these projects, I help. All right. Let's move forward in where you can plant trees. So we've covered North America, which is Canada, United States, and Mexico. But if you want to go international, we can go to Latin America. Now, Latin America includes, the Amazon rainforest, Brazil, Haiti, the Andes, Guatemala, Honduras, Colombia, Peru. Okay, that's all the way down in South America. Okay, so South America actually is South America and Latin America. We used to call it Central America. But Latin America includes Central America and South America. We also can go overseas to Asia, and we plant trees in Indonesia. We plant trees in India. We plant trees in the Philippines and Vietnam. Okay. And to tell you the truth, each one of our breaks, I'm gonna break down one of the continents that we plant on, in order for you to get a better feel of why Green Books Publishing wants to go overseas. Okay, so we're just touching on the continents, but we're not actually going into the countries to tell you why. But we will, and we'll talk about the species of trees that we're planting there and why it's good for the environment there. We did our research. This company is legit, and this is why I backed them, and this is why my company is what it is. Okay, actually, Green Books Publishing is not a company; it's a brand. It's a brand which is a division of Duly Noted Design Studios LLC. Just want to put that out there. Now, in Africa, we plant in Kenya, Ethiopia. We plant trees for chimpanzees, which is in Uganda, I believe. We plant trees in Ghana, Rwanda, Uganda, and Tanzania. In Europe, we plant trees in Iceland, Romania, Scotland. We plant trees in Spain and Denmark. And in the Pacific, we plant trees in New Zealand and Australia, which we just got done doing. I'm so proud and happy that we planted a tree in Australia. It only cost $1. Okay? So, let's get to that that video that I said we were going to watch, right? All right, here we go. This is the update on the reforestation initiative. It's 7 minutes long, or 8 minutes long. Here we go. No, baby, I'm live. Sweetheart, I'm live.
Happy 2021! Can you take that out? Hi everyone, Happy New Year. Welcome back to Reforest.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me just play this live.
Power on. Bluetooth.
I'm going to turn this one off.
Bluetooth connected.
I'm going to turn this on. Let's see if we have it here. And we have it. Soundbar. Here we go.
Take that out.
Why did I touch that?
Hi everyone, Happy New Year. Welcome back to Reforestation Update number 2. For those of you that are new to our channel, my name is Kylie and I'm a project manager with One Tree Planted.
My name is Nicole. I work on the marketing team as the web designer.
We are so excited to be here and sharing with you some of our amazing upcoming projects. But before we jump into that, we wanted to shout out some of our achievements in 2020. Despite all the challenges of COVID-19, we have planted over 10 million trees. We are planting on 6 continents and 25 countries, and we completed 80 plantings this year.
We also just want to give a big shout out to all of our donors. We would not be able to make this big of an impact if it wasn't for your donation dollars. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
We also wanted to announce that we are off to a fantastic start for 2021 with already 13 million trees committed to be planted throughout the year.
So the first project that we will be talking about today is Guatemala. Unfortunately, the essential mangrove forests that are just off of Guatemala's southern Pacific coast are currently threatened by illegal logging, deforestation in watershed regions. The mangrove forests along Guatemala's Pacific coastal marine zone are essential to regional environmental stability and are critical to the livelihoods of thousands of people who make a living off of fishing and tourism. Our Guatemalan project proposes to restore 45 hectares of the Manchon Guamuchal mangrove forest. Not only will we be planting, but we will also be monitoring the growth of the 90,000 red mangrove trees. Mangrove trees are amazing for so many different reasons, but just to name a few, healthy mangrove roots are a refuge for different types of amphibians and reptiles, and mangroves also serve as a carbon reservoir. Their restoration will protect the coastal regions from extreme weather conditions.
Up next, we have our agroforestry project in Madre de Dios, Peru. This has been a multi-year effort to reestablish over 300,000 trees. We are heading into our 4th year with 150,000 trees to be planted throughout 2021. This reforestation effort is focused in the Tambopata National Reserve, the Bauá Hashanene National Park, please forgive my pronunciation, and buffer zones outside of these protected areas. This buffer zone has been identified as a high-risk area for deforestation and degradation due to unsustainable agricultural practices. This project seeks to protect and restore primary forests and biodiversity within these protected areas and restore degraded land in the buffer zone. This project will work with local farmers in Puerto Maldonado to provide technical assistance and training to participants in the community, and to establish a sustainable agroforestry system using shade-grown cacao and native tree species. This is a great example of how planting trees can not only benefit the environment, but also create economic stability and provide pathways for financial independence. Hey Nicole, you gonna talk about some trees?
Kylie, you're in luck, because that's exactly what I was gonna do. Oh my god, that's bad! We have just wrapped up our planting in Ghana, where we have funded the distribution and growth of more than 35,000 seedlings. These trees will go right to individual farmers, as well as their communities, their streets and alleyways, as well as parks and recreation areas. The widespread deforestation from the development of oil and gas in this region, a rising interest in rubber plantations, and rapid urbanization have consequently affected local communities and smallholder families. These families are experiencing land loss for food crop farming, declining soil fertility, increased flooding, and increased droughts. All of these conditions undermine their ability to support themselves through farming. In addition to this, the extensive forest clearing has caused a decrease in tropical biodiversity as well as an increase in greenhouse gas emissions. Time for an exciting update about California. Woohoo! We love California. So we have 2 new amazing projects in California this month.
Yes, it's very exciting. We are adding 2 new locations to our wildfire restoration efforts in California. We will be planting in the Angeles National Forest at 2 different sites and the San Bernardino National Forest. Hey Nicole, are you a swimmer?
No, I'm more of a diver, honestly.
All right, let's dive deep. Today we have a very special deep dive. We have read and listened to your comments, and we're going to be going over an incredible and inspirational project taking place throughout the Pacific Northwest. For those of you that don't know, we are going into our 2nd year of planting trees to protect the endangered southern resident orcas. Sadly, there are only 76 remaining in the wild, although conservationists have hope that by repairing critical watersheds and restoring food supply, we can bring back these orcas from the brink of extinction.
Okay, I have a question. Actually, I have a couple.
Shoot.
First question is, why are the orca whales so endangered?
One of the biggest threats to orca populations is the ever-decreasing supply of Chinook salmon. Salmon makes up a huge part of their diet. It's almost 80% of their caloric intake. For thousands of years, these southern resident orca populations have relied on Chinook salmon populations as their primary food supply. As the orca populations migrate north to south along the Pacific coast, they feed on the nutrient-dense salmon flowing downstream from rivers and streams. Human interference has caused the once abundant Chinook salmon supply to collapse, with only about half of the Northwest Chinook salmon supply remaining.
What is One Tree Planted doing about this?
One Tree Planted has committed to plant 1.5 million trees from Northern California all the way up the coast to British Columbia.
Okay, only one question left. Would you be able to explain the connection between orca whales and trees?
Yes, that's a great question. The trophic cascade brought on by planting trees is really undeniable. Balancing an ecosystem is an important part of making sure that critical species survive, and planting trees is a great way to start. Tree roots, as they grow, stabilize embankments and prevent erosion, reducing turbidity in streams and creating a more hospitable environment for salmon populations to respawn. Woody debris falling into the rivers creates food for insects, which in turn supply food for Chinook salmon. As the canopy grows, it shades the water, stabilizing water temperature and cooling it down. Even trees, as they die and fall into riverbeds, slow the flow of water, again creating a hospitable, slow-flowing environment. Of course, the orca populations are affected by so many other factors, including ocean pollution and ship traffic. There is no doubt that other steps must be taken in order to ensure their survival, but planting trees is a great place to start. And what's so great is that planting trees is an action that can be taken today.
All right, so that concludes our second reforestation update. We just want to thank you all again for tuning in. Please be sure to like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, and comment what projects you want to see next month.
Happy 2021, everyone! Yahoo!
Thanks.
So guys, that is why we are Green Books Publishing. That's why we plant trees, okay? We plant trees because it helps more than just what you think. It ain't just our breathing. It's whale populations. It's rivers and streams and embankments and the tropical shade and all of this. All of these things factor into, you know, the slow of the river, you know, the trickle down effect. It's basically the trickle down effect. I'm not going to rephrase everything she said, but I am learning, and it's very good. Planting trees is very good. So that's one thing that we committed ourselves to, is planting trees. All right. So yeah, let's buy this here book. Okay. And I gave you 50% off within the next 24 hours because you came to this live. Now, hear me, no one can get 50% off except the people that are viewing this live right now. You don't know what the coupon is unless you actually looked at the live. Now, yeah, you might see it after, but to tell you the truth, it doesn't work because it's only good for 24 hours. That's how I created the coupon. And I don't care if I'm selling something for $300. If I give you 50% off, that's $150 off. It depends on the amount of value that the product is giving you. Is how I price things. I don't price things just to be making money. I price things accordingly. So I figured 7 books wouldn't hurt you. All right. And even if you buy it for 15, it's still going to benefit your life more than you think, because success comes from the mind first. Actually, it comes from the heart first, because if you change your heart, then your surroundings will change. Even God promised that. All right. So, guys, I want you to go to greenbookspublishing.com and type in success mindset in the search. And it should be on the front page. Let me see. I'm gonna click here. And if you're listening in on SoundCloud, go to greenbookspublishing.com. If you're listening in on, as well as if you're listening in on Spreaker or Last FM, go to the same website, greenbookspublishing.com. Now, if you're watching this video, which is the podcast version, you can actually go to you can use the video and go down in the description below on YouTube and actually click on the website, and it'll bring you right here. Also, if you're on Facebook, you can do the same thing. If you're on Instagram, go to IGTV. When you're on Wellben Work Online, go to IGTV. We have an IGTV. You can only see that if you're on the computer, I believe. But we should have a replay in the post. So yeah, definitely wherever you're at, there's access to this. If you're hearing my voice, go to greenbookspublishing.com and check out the Success Mindset ebook. It will help your life tenfold. Trust me. All right. So with that said, I'm not going to overdo it here. We're going on 46 minutes. It's usually an hour podcast with 15 minutes late. So I'm going to stop 15 minutes early just so that you can continue with your day. I'm not going to impede. But tomorrow at 12 p.m., we will be live. And we owe everything to God. Okay? We owe everything to God. Everything. I just want to keep putting that out there. So be thankful, be grateful. And, I make dua. That's speaking to God directly and asking him to, first venerating him for what he is and what he does for us. But also, then thereafter, definitely asking him for what we need. We need positive mindsets. We need his resources. He has boundless mercy and boundless forgiveness and boundless resources and provisions, but you got to ask for it. So I ask that everyone be given a chance to have his mercy. So I greet you in the words of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.